Hello and welcome to God's Minute. This is a special Saturday edition of the program, and I am still Pastor Jonathan Conrad. Today we conclude the first part of Daniel with chapter 6, and this includes the famous story of Daniel and the lion's den. So let's get to it today. So the presidents and satraps conspired and came to the king and said to him, O King Darius, live forever. All the presidents of the kingdom, the prefects and the satraps, the counselors and the governors are agreed that the king should establish an ordinance and enforce an interdict that whoever prays to anyone, divine or human, for 30 days, except to you, O king, shall be thrown into a den of lions. Now, O king, establish the interdict and sign the document so that it cannot be changed, according to the law of the Medes and the Persians, which cannot be revoked. Therefore, King Darius signed the document and interdict. Although Daniel knew that the document had been signed, he continued to go to his house, which had windows in its upper room open toward Jerusalem, and to get down on his knees 3 times a day to pray to his God and praise him, just as he had done previously. The conspirators came and found Daniel praying and seeking mercy before his God. Then they approached the king and said concerning the interdict, O king, did you not sign an interdict that anyone who prays to anyone, divine or human, within 30 days, except to you, O king, shall be thrown into a den of lions? The king answered, The thing stands fast, according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which cannot be revoked. Then they responded to the king, Daniel, one of the exiles from Judah, pays no attention to you, O king, or to the interdict you have signed, but he is saying his prayers 3 times a day. When the king heard the charge, he was very distressed. He was determined to save Daniel, and until the sun went down, he made every effort to rescue him. Then the king gave the command, and Daniel was brought and thrown into the den of lions. The king said to Daniel, May your God, whom you faithfully serve, deliver you. A stone was brought and laid on the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his own signet and with the signet of his lords, so that nothing might be changed concerning Daniel. Then the king went to the palace and spent the night fasting. No food was brought to him, and sleep fled from him. Then at break of day, the king got up and hurried to the den of lions. When he came near the den where Daniel was, he cried out anxiously to Daniel, O Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God, whom you faithfully serve, been able to deliver you from the lions? Daniel then said to the king, O king, live forever. My God sent his angel and shut the lions' mouths so that they would not hurt me, because I was found blameless before him, and also before you, O king. I have done no wrong. Then the king was exceedingly glad and commanded that Daniel be taken up out of the den. So Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no kind of harm was found in him, because he had trusted in his God. So now we get to focus on the most famous story in this book, Daniel and the lion's den. And we have a new king, by the way. This one is named King Darius, and Darius and Daniel have a good relationship. In fact, you could say that they are friends. And this story has a lot of political intrigue because the enemies of Daniel are very jealous at his position, his power in the government, and they want to do something about that. So they get Darius to make up a law that everybody has to worship Darius for 30 days and no one else, knowing that Daniel would fall into this trap. But I like how Daniel recognizes the trap and he still continues to pray and worship the one true God. So Darius realizes that Daniel has broken the law. And even though Darius wants to save Daniel, he also has to save face before the people. I mean, what kind of king won't back up what he has said is law? What gets me is the friendship between Daniel and Darius. This relationship deserves our attention. I think that even though we don't hear it, I think Darius was actually praying to God. I started thinking this when the king says, May God deliver you, as in, may God save and protect you. You see, prayers don't have to start with Dear God or Hey Lord. Our prayers can be thoughts of other people, the people we love and care for. Now, sure, in church or in prayer groups, we like to have an official start like, attention, the prayer of the day is starting. But I can't help but think that Darius is praying to God in his own way. Just think about this. How do you pray to God? Do you announce it or do you just talk to God? Now, guess what? Either way works. Both ways work. God doesn't mind. It depends on your mood. But you know, God is always in the mood to listen and to talk with you. So take notice on how you pray and who you pray for. Because just like Darius and Daniel, Your relationship with God deserves your attention and your care. Thank you for joining me this week. I've enjoyed talking about this first part of Daniel, and next week we get to the second part of Daniel, starting with chapter 7. Until then, have a good weekend. You take care, and God bless.